Right then, people, so I thought I wanted to do a bit of a follow-up. Remember this video here where I was talking about the very nice things on the horizon? We're going to have some Twitch events taking place with Twitch drops, and very likely a lot of people will be turning up playing the game. And of course, with a lot more people playing Rust, what will that equal? Well, a lot more demand for skins, higher skin prices. So, as I hop over to here, quickly take a look at what we saw recently. This past Thursday, we peaked at 175,000 plus people. Now, just to give you a comparison, with last year, we had only 161,000 for the peak. So we're doing pretty good so far. So that's definitely surpassed expectations. I thought we were going to get very close to it, but I mean, still did better. The main point is, lots of people currently playing at the moment. The summer has kicked off, and Rust skins in general are doing ever so nicely. So in this video, I just kind of want to go over and analyse some of these skins. They're peaking. A lot of skins are peaking right now, and you're definitely going to have to start thinking to yourself, do I want to sell now? So I'm not specifically going to be talking about selling in general, just keeping track of many skins that are progressing very nicely, but I'll very likely have another video potentially over the next few days talking about selling because, well, it's definitely looking to be a perfectly fine option. So, here happens to be the Forest Raiders pants. Why would I pick those out? Oh, I wonder. I think a lot of people happen to like the Forest Raiders collection. What do you reckon? So if I quickly go over to here, Forest Raiders has been rising up in price ever so nice. We never saw flashbacks getting more continuation, so it's pretty much uncontested. It is the go-to green camouflage option, and that is doing beautifully. And all of these skins that you see right here in front of you, they're peaking. So with the pants as the example, currently the lowest listing is $30, but it's a bit of a straggler. The actual next one right there is $32. So as I scroll down over to here and look at its lifetime sales, look at that. It's only climbing higher and higher and higher. And this, unfortunately, is the problem where if Facepunch don't provide cheaper alternative camouflage options, Forest Raiders is only going to become even more pay to win. Quite literally. So if we did see the rest of Flashbacks getting accepted, yeah, maybe that might slow down a bit. Maybe it actually go down in price because people would have a much more affordable option available to them. But that ain't happening. This is only getting more and more expensive. So if you happen to pick some of those up when they're cheaper during the likes of February time, congratulations, you've made a lovely bit of profit. And then moving over to the likes of this, we also have the kilt. This is only getting more and more expensive. As you can see right here, $63. And if you can recall, just a few months back during post-Christmas, back in January time, this peaked at about $55. Well, of course, it's going even higher. So yeah, things are only getting better and better and better. Get a good look at that. So looking at that, it just keeps rising and rising and rising. Will it ever stop? Most likely not. And with the likes of this only getting more and more expensive, a lot of people just can't really afford that. $63 for a pair of Roadsign pants. Ridiculous, yes. People will look for other options. Unfortunately, when it comes to the likes of green Roadsign pants, there's not that many options. But last year we did get Reptile Hunter. Now, a good few months back, there was like 500 plus quantity. Like, it was ridiculous. There were so many listings of these. But as we've gradually gone through the lead up to the summer, and now we're in the summer, a lot of that stock has just magically disappeared. Now we do still have the likes of 27 quantity here, 30 quantity here, but that was sitting there at one point at about 60 cents each. Now look at it. It's better. It's actually above its Rust store price now. And it's been like this for a good week or two now. Could it potentially go up even higher? We shall see. But after we get past the 27 and the 30, it very likely will. So the main point about this with the Reptile Hunter kilt is it's the cheapest green kilt that's available in the game currently right now. So hey, if you think that can only go up even higher, maybe it might be a good thing to consider looking at. But just to remind all of you, just a few months back, it was pretty cheap. At its lowest point around here back in March 31st, that was sitting there quite literally at 60 cents. It's almost doubled in price, so that's looking pretty sweet. So yeah, that's looking very nice. But what if we were to look at some other certain skins, such as Blackout? So Blackout always usually gets bought out quite a lot. Lots of people appreciate it. And very recently, we had the Blackout SAP. Now, initially, there was quite a lot that I bought. Not an insane amount, but you might remember there was quite a lot of stock being listed on the Steam market. That sold for $2.49. And initially, as I said, a lot of people were listing theirs. It kind of looked like there potentially might be a bit of a problem. I was expecting that. I did point that out. I said, guys, I know this has come out and it looks like it has a lot of hype, and I bought a whole bunch of them myself, but I did sit and say I will not be surprised if we do get quite a lot of listings initially, but as time goes on throughout the summer, it will be appreciated more. And guess what's happening? So as I scroll down over to here, you can see that all of this quantity is nice and thin, no major resistance. That's looking very nice, very sweet. You understand that if there's an increase in demand, that could easily rise up in price. So as I scroll down over to here and look at its lifetime sales, you can see it had a bit of a bumpy start. It did go down a fair bit, then it stops going down, and now it's starting to trend upwards, at the beginning of it properly rising up in price. And as I said, so as long as we constantly see a reasonable amount of people buying these out every day, oh look, another one just got bought, that's nice to see, then yeah, gradually it will comfortably rise up in price. It will become a nicer profit. And we did discuss that in the past. So looking at all the recent Blackout weapons that we saw being accepted, they mostly took a while to get to where they were. The point I'm trying to get across is, it took a while for, wow, even the double barrel shotgun's gone back up in price. Well, there you go. So taking you back to the past, initially these took a while to get up in price, but now that sits there at $15, this sits here at $12, and this sits here at just under $5. Blackout collection as a whole, usually it just does brilliantly, and we actually might get to a point where every single one of these skins will be in the positive. So it took a while for it to get a bit more comfortable, but here we are. And hey, if you bought a bunch of these, maybe you might want to consider selling them now. If you want, maybe wait until July. You know, if all the North American kids are out of school now and playing the game, why not wait until July when all the European kids are also out of school as well? So more people playing is definitely leading to success, and it's definitely leading to prices improving. So we're peaking upwards and we're enjoying it. Over to here. So this was a random skin that someone brought up to me because, well, they were very surprised to see the price. And when I looked at it, I was very surprised as well. Blackout SAR came out like 2 years ago. Didn't it do like 30,000 sales? Well, you got the details over here, but then you removed it because you're an idiot. Oh, Hedge, unbelievable. So let's go take a look at the Blackout collection again. We have the SAR being accepted, let's to be precise, yeah, September 2022. It only did about 22,000 subscribers. All right, that's not too bad. But, you know, looking at it now, you'd be very surprised to see that it's comfortably risen up and it's tripled in price, basically. So there's only 20 listings. There's not that much left. And when you look at the sales, it's just been trending upwards ever so nicely. Yeah, it goes up, sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes back up again, sometimes it goes down again, and then it goes back up again. That is the routine with every single year. You might notice summer last year, October, yep, that was its lowest point around there, October. Post-Christmas, February, March, summertime. So you might notice that very likely might happen all over again. This might reach a nice peak price at some point, but do be aware that at some point down the line, September, October, November, the autumn-fall season, yeah, that's a very likely outcome where it's all going to go back down again. So what causes that? Well, I've been making a big fuss saying that, well, around at this point in particular, you can see that the average player count rose up ever so nicely during these 2 months last year. All the kids are out of school. It's not too hard to understand. But what happens when they go back to school? Well, 95,000 average player count right there in July. Look what happens just 2 months later. 69,000. About a third of the people disappeared. Please be prepared for this. You might want to consider selling your skins over the course of these 2 months before we reach these months. This is when a lot less people play the game. This is when rust skin demand goes down a lot, and this is when prices go down real bad. All right, you've been warned. So currently we're enjoying it. We had a lovely high peak player count. We're very likely going to see this keep increasing, and July is expected to be even better. So looking at some of these skins right now, I might have accidentally leaked the next one we're taking a look at, but yeah, if you own some of these, it's in your hands now. Do you reckon it's a good time to sell? Is the profit good enough for you? Just remember this. Don't sell in absurd amounts. Take your time. Sell them in small increments. Maybe a group of 3, maybe a group of 5. I wouldn't do more than 5. Ride the wave of momentum. Don't try and stop it. If you unload a big fat stack of quantity, you're building up a massive, well, tons of resistance. And that price ain't going to go any higher until your stack's gone. But if you sold them in small amounts, it's a lot easier for that to get bought out. And if people are really eager to get more, I mean, they'll go up even higher. So ride the wave of momentum. It's as simple as that. Blackout SAR, you are definitely appreciating this summertime, and you are peaking ever so higher. That very likely could reach up to $10. It's not that far off. Right, back to Whiteout collection. So this has been doing good as well. Now, a few more listings have appeared. We've got 2 stragglers right there, but it doesn't matter. When you look at this, look at its lifetime sales. There we go. Now, unfortunately, Get a good look at this. Someone accidentally sold theirs for super cheap. Oh dear. But that is also now reaching up a new all-time high price. It peaked up ever so nicely towards the very end of December, just a few months back. We dipped down during the likes of February, March time, but then it rose back, it rose back up. So yeah, this was the Easter dip. We did warn all of you about that. Now it's peaking up and it's going up even higher. Does that look like it's going to stop anytime soon? It certainly doesn't. And look at the listings. There's only 33 left. There is a 14 here. I will sit here and say this: if you're the person with the 14, maybe remove that. Maybe just put it down to a much more smaller amount. But regardless, it looks like it's still cruising to go up even higher potentially. Will July be its peak? I don't know. I can't give you a proper definitive answer in regards to that, but I am making a point of all of these meta skins, these skins that people greatly appreciate and usually always get bought out during the periods of time like this where everything's in a positive, where everything's doing very nicely when loads of people are playing. They're doing good, and the more you are aware of these things, maybe it's time to consider acting. So, looking over to here, we also have the Whiteout Kilt, and what price are you selling for now? $15? Okay, that's looking pretty sweet. Is that your all-time high price? We're getting there. So it doesn't look like this has actually surpassed it properly yet. I think it has ever so slightly. We'll probably see it rise up a little bit more as time goes on because, well, there's only 66 listings, and just to give you some context, on average, every skin on a Rusty market usually has around 100 quantity. That's only got 66. There's a lot of ones there. There's no big fat quantity. There's no big fat resistance. It can go higher. Whiteout collection is usually always getting bought out, always usually prominent on the front page, and well, yeah, if there's always demand for it, gradually, as time goes on, it will only get more expensive. So just to keep you all informed. So that's looking pretty good as well. And then, of course, much how we talked about the likes of the Forest Raiders kilt getting more and more expensive, and I mentioned how people looking for alternative budget options, Reptile Hunter kilt start to rise back in price. You might have noticed that the likes of the Thundergold Roadsign kilt is doing very, very good as well, even though it's technically incomplete. But yeah, it's another white kilt, and that has basically doubled in price since it came out back in January time. Get a good look at that. That's just steadily increasing more and more and more. But don't be surprised if it does drop off eventually at some point once we reach around September time. As I said, September, October, November, it is expected that they do go down a fair bit because a lot less people will be playing. Demand for the skins in general for all of Rust will go down. Therefore, prices in general will all go down. So make considerations for what you plan to do next. That's looking ever so good. And technically speaking, it's only been rising ever since it existed. Only 64 listings right there. Hey, we'll see how that turns out from here and now. And then, of course, over here, what do you reckon people like to use with their Whiteout collection? Well, maybe they want to use the full white weapons. Comics collection is the perfect shout for that. And as you can see right here, this is now peaked at $10. And of course, what do you reckon? Is it reached a new all-time high price? Yes, indeed. Look at that. So that is only doing even better as well. So in general, you might have noticed a lot of skins from notable collections are doing very nice, but some probably are still trying to catch up to the best prices that they had in the past. Tempered large box, that was bought out a ton back in early 2023. It was during that period of time where we're getting a whole bunch of tempered deplorables. Now, of course, recently, we've just had the likes of the double doors being accepted. I don't know what's happening next in regards to what Milho Frito plans to do next. He's the skin creator. Maybe we'll see a resubmission of the armored door. Maybe we'll see some other skin being produced. Of course, if you're going to be prepared for something like that, always keep an eye on the likes of the workshop. Plenty more skins will be submitted, but usually on Monday is where we see most of the skins being submitted. So keep an eye out for the likes of that. Anyway, back over to here. This is currently sitting here at $4, 99 listings. Okay, that's perfectly average, but looking at the lifetime sales, we haven't yet reached close. Well, we're getting there, but we haven't yet reached the peak price. Maybe you might want to wait it out a little bit longer for certain skins. All right, so whilst this is doing very nice and much better compared to what it was doing back in February time, we probably want to wait it out a little bit longer. And this is where I'm thinking that I'm going to do another video tomorrow talking more about selling skins and figuring out whether it's a good time to consider selling specific skins. So that still is looking perfectly fine to consider selling based on how much you might have bought it for, but could it still potentially go higher? Well, it's not looking too ridiculous. And then you see the 25 there, and then maybe that might potentially be a bit of a problem. But yeah, so it might be in a bit of a yap session, but in general, right now, things are looking very, very good. And potentially they could go even better. But if you own quite a lot of skins, and you know, I definitely do, you probably really do want to look at all of your skins in your inventories, look at the prices they're currently selling for. If you remembered how much you bought them all for, that's even better. You might want to start considering making some sales. It's better to sell it now rather than waiting until September and then you see everything drop off pretty badly, because as I said, less people will be playing around then. So yeah, that's basically it. So I very likely will be making a sequel video, and I will be talking about making some sales during the likes of summer 2024 and figuring out, is it a good time to sell certain specific skins? We're going to have to do a little bit more of an investigation. At the very least, don't forget to keep an eye on the likes of the commits. We will be seeing even more interesting things being made and produced in time for the July 4th wipe. Yes, yes, yes. July 4th wipe is very likely going to have a lot of content because, technically speaking, we didn't get that much stuff added during the likes of June 4th wipe. Lots of quality of life fixes and whatnot, but not actual content, you know. So keep an eye out. We'll very likely, potentially, hopefully see the likes of bikes being added. Maybe we'll see the likes of the, oh yeah, we've got the Skidoo. That seems to be some sort of snowmobile. That's going to be interesting. And then of course we've got the likes of the travelling vendor still being worked on, Rattown Redux, Frontier Hatchet Fur Trim. Ooh, what might that be? Oh, well, keep an eye on the commits. And as we get closer and closer to the next month, we can be nice and, what's the word to say? Invested, I guess we could say, for the new update. And hopefully even more people will be playing around then. How high could we potentially go for the July 4th wipe? I'm expecting even higher than that. And yeah, we've been playing a bit of a guessing game in the server. We're trying to see who could guess to get the number right. Arch Devis got so close. It was only 36 off, so yeah. Feel free to join my server if you wish. Just look in the description. You'll see links to all my socials, my Twitter, my Twitch, and of course my Discord. You're more than welcome to jump in and take part. And that's basically that. So things are looking good at the moment. And on another day, I'll talk about making some sales. So with that, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, Hedge, you talk so much and yet you talk so badly. Thank you for putting up with me. Much appreciated. Catch you later.